and you have access to 5 characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Cream, and Amy. And you can pair any of those 5 characters with any of the 4 remaining characters. And whatever your team is pretty much their own character. So you effectively have 20 characters in this game. So the All Stages category aims to clear every stage with a completed file using time trial mode, and clear every boss as well using whatever team you wish to use. And the reason that this category is made was because a plain any % category starting from a new file would be kind of boring, because you're limited to only using Sonic, Tails, or Tails Sonic, since you have to unlock the other characters. So, yeah. Okay. 50, yeah. 5-0. Alright, so I'm going to be going to time trial mode and clearing every stage using whatever team I feel like is optimal or reasonably convenient. So I'm going to use this lovely couple and start from Zone 1, Act 1. So, are you ready on time? Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, this game introduces something called tag actions, where when you hold the R button, after 1.5 seconds of charging, you can use your partner's tag action. The tag action you have depends on who your partner is, so Sonic's tag action gives you a burst of speed. The reason you see me pause buffering here is because what Sonic's tag action does is actually put an invisible boost pad on your feet for 1 frame, or 1/60th of a second. So by pausing, letting go of the charge button, and then holding A, the unpausing, I get to input jumping on that frame. So I get to jump in the air. Like that. So, and the reason I use Amy Sonic is because Amy has a hammer, which has a unique ability to give her extra speed when hitting springs. So by hitting vertical or diagonal springs, you get a lot of extra height and speed from that. So what's interesting is I'm going to use Sonic and Amy, which is a completely different team from Amy and Sonic, like actually. Because Amy's tag action gives you vertical heights. So this is a lot more vertically, a team that's suited more for vertical levels, while still having access to Amy's hammer. Because when Sonic's paired with Amy, he gets access to Amy's hammer as well, which is useful in a few spots in this level.
So one of the cool things about this game is because there's so many different options for the characters and the character pairings, there's actually some really cool routing that goes into this, as I'm sure you're seeing right now.
Right, so something I haven't noted is Boost Mode. Boost Mode is a mechanic introduced in Sonic Advance 2. Where basically, if you have Boost Mode, you accelerate much more quickly. You just move a lot faster in general, and you can initiate Boost Mode by hitting a boost pad, or using Sonic's tag action, or running for a long time. But in this game, you can only activate Boost Mode if you have Sonic on your team. So you'll be seeing Sonic on my team in some shape or form pretty frequently. Now, Tails Sonic is the most broken team in the game, because with Tails' flight mechanics, he does not lose horizontal speed. So by buffering a frame-perfect jump with Sonic's tag action, Tails can fly at the speed of Sonic's boost. And I just literally flew over 1/3 of the stage right there. Oh, it's a bit awkward. And we got some speed shoes. Speed shoes are still pretty useful in this game. And when you have speed shoes, you get boost mode pretty quickly by just running. There we go. So you're going to see this team pretty frequently, along with Cream Sonic. Right, so that's that stage. So, as opposed to most 2D Sonic games, this game actually has 3 acts per zone, so this game is actually pretty big and ambitious. So this game has 7 zones, and 3 levels each, as opposed to the usual 2 zones per each zone. This game has 21 stages, not including the bosses, and not including the hub worlds either. So Cream has this cute little chow called Cheese. He's that little blue creature behind me. Cheese is pretty broken for bosses because Cheese homes in on bosses automatically. The reason I'm using Tails' swipe here is because Cream cannot target Gemroll, this little mini boss here, during his invincibility frames. But Tails' hitbox can hit him, so I can buff for hitting him on the first possible frame. And what Cream's tag action does is it gives me access to your Chow, Cheese. So now I can use Cheese as Tails, even though I'm not Cream. I'm using it again to recharge Cheese. Pretty much cheesing the boss right now. So my positioning here is important because for all bosses in this game, Eggman has a little animation where he flies to the right side of the screen and says, "You're going to pay for this!" Because, I mean, all his machines cost a lot of money and stuff. So I can't control myself until after he flies off the screen. So what I want to do is make sure I finish off Eggman as close to the right side of the screen as possible. And in one or two cases, you can actually finish him off screen to completely skip that. So that's the first boss in the game. Now I'm going to go to the second zone called Sunset Hill, which is totally not a remake of Green Hill Zone. And I'm using Cream Sonic.
Definitely not the same music either.
Yeah. So Cream Sonic is interesting. While Cream loses horizontal speed when flying, unlike Tails, she has a few traits that makes her unique. First of all, she can cancel a flight whenever she wants. Tails cannot. So that comes in handy in a few spots. Furthermore, Cream's initial vertical flight velocity when flying is faster than Tails. So if you need like a little bit of extra vertical boost when flying with Cream, that's where her flight is a bit more handy than Tails. And third, she has Cheese. Tails Sonic does not have Cheese, which comes in handy in a few spots. Oh, whoops. Totally the right direction. Alright. So the next stage I'm going to be using Amy Sonic, which is another team commonly used because, again, Amy's hammer is really nice for a few shortcuts and for springs. But the team you use here doesn't really matter too much as long as Sonic's your partner. That doesn't happen too often, unfortunately.
Sure, we'll do that.
Yeah. I know how to go right. But I just love going left. I can't resist it. So you might notice that I'm almost always rolling when I use Sonic's tag action. That's because you actually, when you roll or jump the frame that you use Sonic's tag action, the game treats it as you touching a boost pad for 2 frames. And you actually go around 20% faster by doing that. So it's pretty important to roll or jump out of every tag action with Sonic. So now this is a team that doesn't use Sonic at all. It's a really unique team in this game. You'll see why in a few seconds. The stage layout for this stage is really complicated. And this is kind of an exit or a pitfall, but I'm just gonna climb out of it by spin dashing up this wall. And I just skip the rest of the stage right there. Knuckles can spin dash up walls in this game, only if he is paired with Amy. And he also has access to Amy's useful tag action. He also has Amy's hammer, which is kind of nice. So that's the mini-boss of the stage. This guy's name is General. The premise of this game is that General is this robot that learns from other characters or something. And Eggman's kind of abusing him to gain power or whatever, and he builds robots based off of General. So you fight General like 5 times in the game. And every one of the bosses in the game is based off of a creation Eggman made around General. So, speaking of bosses, this boss is very random. This boss is kind of a rolling ball around a giant half-pipe or loop or whatever. And you need to hit a specific spot to damage Eggman. Now, how far he gets knocked back by and what direction he rolls is random. So sometimes you cannot get like a quick kill strat on this boss at all. And you might notice that Cheese isn't really homing in on Eggman. Instead, he's just kind of shooting forward like a bullet. It's actually really useful for this boss. There we go. Because the hitbox is huge. Now what I did there for the last hit is I need to time my last hit such that I boost around a loop and gain momentum while hitting Eggman. So he ends off stage, and then I don't have to wait for him to say I'm going to pay for this, because I'm not going to. So that was a really good boss right there. It's really difficult to get that quick kill hit, last hit right off the screen. So this next zone is ocean based, and it's one of my favorite zones in the game. A lot of casual players don't like it because this zone has a lot of climbing and crushers. But in my personal opinion, the fact that there's a lot of climbing gives a lot of opportunities for unique teams to shine, this being one of them. So Tails' tag action on the ground lets you leapfrog, and he tosses you really high into the side. This team also has access to tricking off springs. Tricking is a mechanic introduced in Sonic Advance 2. It's pretty limited in this game. There's only 4 teams that can trick off of springs. But it's pretty important in this stage. So I'm going to use Tails' ground tag action again here. So tag actions differ not only depending on who your partner is, but also whether you use it in the air or on the ground. So when you use Tails' tag action on the ground, he carries you by flying, so similarly to how he does in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's not as useful as its ground tag action, but it does come in handy here and there. So I skipped a lot of moving platforms and cleared the stage pretty quickly because this team is pretty much the perfect team for this stage. You have Tails' leapfrogging tag action, and you have Sonic's boost mode, and you can trick. So when I start the stage, there's a giant wall behind me that kind of acts as, oh, you messed up, you're going to fall all the way back to the start of the stage. But no, I'm just going to climb out of it and skip about a third of the stage by doing this. Climbing up this wall. So there you go. I'm going to use Amy's tag action to skip that cannon. And then there's a bunch of waterfalls you have to fall down here. And then there's an underwater section I'm supposed to go into, but the developers put this nice shortcut here so you can just skip that. So thank you, developers. So I skipped the first cannon by spin dashing, and I skipped the second and third cannon by using Amy's tag action again. That hit is intentional to control my speed. Now there's a really valuable shortcut coming up here. It's a little bit tight to get, and I got it. So you're supposed to ride that platform there, but if I take that shortcut there, then I can skip that mini auto-scroller. And there's another moving platform I'm supposed to ride here, but I'm just going to skip that. So. And then the stage is coming up right here. There you go. That's a really good time. Alright, so this next stage coming up, I'm going to be using a team Sonic and Cream. Cream's tag action not only gives her access to her Chow cheese, but when you use her tag action in the air, she directly amplifies your vertical velocity. So if you use it right as you jump, you gain a lot of extra height. If you use it while falling down, or at the peak of your jump, you don't gain much height. So a lot of casual players dismiss this as a pretty useless tag action because people tend to use it at the peak of your jump when you get the most use out of it by using it at the start of your jump, or off a spring, which is even better. And the reason why this team is nice is because, unlike Amy and Tails' tag actions, where they both send you flying vertically high, Cream's tag action in the air gives you a lot more horizontal momentum as well. It's not as good as Sonic's tag action for horizontal speed, and it's not as good as Amy and Tails' tag actions for vertical heights, but it's kind of in between where it's decent for both. It's really nice for larger open areas. And of course, since I have Sonic on my team... Oh, that was my 4th best time. Wow.
Yo, sick.
That was really good. Alright. So this boss coming up, it doesn't really matter which team you use as long as you have homing cheese. So I'm going to use Cream and Knuckles. When you pair Cream with Knuckles, cheese turns into a flying hitbox around Cream, which is pretty handy if I make a mistake, and it's also nice for a really difficult strat if I want to go for it, which I'm not going to. Well, maybe I'll go for it. Who knows? But yeah, this boss, I need to kind of snipe Eggman by jumping in between the legs. This is harder than it looks because your own hitbox increases when you use cheese. So if you're anywhere near his defeat, then you're just going to get hit. Ah. Well. There we go. And you also have to be high enough for cheese to detect that Eggman's near enough to home in on it. So you have to be at the peak of your jump, in between his legs, facing the center of Eggman. Otherwise, you're either going to get hit, or cheese is not going to attack him. That was a really good fight, though. The ideal strat is actually to get hit on the same frame that you hit him with cheese flying around you, and then you get knocked to the left while waiting for Eggman, because that moves him closer to the right side of the screen. But I've only ever done that twice in my entire life, so it's really difficult. Alright, so this is Toy Kingdom is coming up. This is kind of the casino-ish level. It's not the worst. It's not as bad as Casino Paradise from Advance 1. It's a lot more about managing cycles and not making mistakes like that. I'm better off just restarting this level. Alright. Because there's a lot of moving blocks in Toy Kingdom. So... Oh man. I don't mess up this jump. Oh well. So how fast I do that part doesn't matter too much as long as I make the cycle here. I wait a bit intentionally there to manipulate the cycles right here to not risk getting crushed. And then there are no more cycles for me to wait on, so every minor optimization I do here counts. Oop. That has never happened before. Whoops. This is one of the easier stages. I don't have trouble with this, but I guess there's a first time for everything. Oops. You get to see me do the stage again. If you really like toys, then this is the run for you. Alright. Oh, nice. Got the jump. That might be a top 5 time. Nope, never mind. Alright. Tail Sonic. I'm going to be using Tail Sonic for this next level. Because there's a lot more horizontal distances for me to cross, and Tails' ability to not lose speed when flying is more important than Cream's ability to cancel
the flight.
Yeah. Again, I'm waiting here intentionally to manipulate block cycles. If I went a bit earlier there, while it is faster, there's a very high risk of getting crushed by that block. The game's crusher hitboxes are really funky and don't make sense, so I really want to avoid the risk of getting crushed. So those jack-in-the-boxes there are not random. Well, some people think they are, but they aren't. There's like a little colored diamond on the bottom that you have to look at. If it's blue, you're gonna get a spring. If it's red, you'll get hurt. Well, there'll be a spike. And I made... Wow. That went really well. Ooh. That went really well. So, the stage, there's a block cycle near the very end of the stage, and if I make that block cycle, then I'm gonna have a sub 50 probably, which is a really good time.
So you said there's 20 character combinations. How many of them are used in this run?
14 or 15 around. Knuckles and Sonic is a team we haven't seen yet. So Knuckles normally can glide, but when he's paired with Sonic, he gets this little headbutt attack, which isn't really that useful, honestly. The main reason I use this team is 1, I need Sonic's tag action, and 2, I need Knuckles on my team. Having Knuckles on your team gives you access to power attacks, which allows you to destroy power barriers. Some barriers cannot be damaged at all unless you use power attack. And those are the 2 barriers I use. Those are the 2 barriers that I need a power attack for. So it's a really nice shortcut to skip some cycles, and it's a really fast path. Alright. Go! Alright. And I'm gonna fight General again. General patterns tend to be random. Well, I think only the first fight is not random. All the fights after that are random. But that was actually a pretty good pattern, all in all. Not perfect, but it's a good pattern. Generally speaking, you want General to just dash back and forth, because that's when he's vulnerable most often. But if he like flies around, you can't hit him during those attacks, so you lose time. So that's Toy Kingdom, and then I'm gonna fight the Toy Kingdom boss next, which is the longest boss in the game for really dumb reasons. It's also very much the hardest boss in the game. Because, I mean, I'm not just going to sit in front of his face and then start spin dashing and just stand there waiting for him to attack me and not do anything. Yeah. So this boss has you have to hit this boss 10 times to finish him off and knock him off to the other side. With each time you hit him, he has a choice between 3 attacks. The missile attack, which is the worst pattern. It takes 12 seconds. There's the ball and chain attack, which is the medium pattern. It takes 10 seconds. And then there's the Jack in the Box pattern, which takes 5 seconds. So right there, I just lost 14 seconds compared to an ideal pattern. I just lost another 7 seconds. So, yeah. And that each time you hit Eggman, the chances of the Jack in the Box go lower and lower until after the 7th hit, where it is flat out impossible for him to give you the Jack in the Box. So the ideal pattern is 7 Jack in the Boxes and then 3 of these, because you can't get any more Jack in the Boxes.
And maybe I have to get a single Jack in the Box. So this is an amazing.
Oh, there's one on the 5th hit. Wow, that's really lucky, actually. I mean, really rare, I should say. It's like I almost never see a Jack in the Box after the 3rd hit. My ILPB, I think, got like individual level personal best, has like 6 Jack in the Boxes, 1 missile, and 3 ball and chains, I think. I think the only person to have a faster time than me is Worcester. And it's because like he has like one slightly faster pattern, and it's 6 seconds faster than my time. That's how big of a difference luck makes in this boss. So as boring as this boss is, there is one interesting strat I'm going to do for the last hit, and it's just also kind of luck-based. So what I'm going to do is use Sonic's tag action before Eggman becomes vulnerable, and then go left. This will make Eggman off screen, but I have to rely on Sonic to hit Eggman for me. Usually he will, but sometimes he doesn't cooperate. And because of luck, sometimes these toy soldiers will be in the way as well, which you can't really do anything about. Hit him! No! Sonic, what are you doing? No! Ugh. This time, Sonic was not very cooperative, so this is a really bad fight. But there wasn't much I could have done about it. 2:13 is... anything over 2:10 is a pretty bad time. Personally, like, I consider anything sub 2 minutes to be a decent time in an all-stages run.
What's your ILPB for reference?
I think 138. Yeah, it makes a big difference.
From just straight RNG.
Just straight luck, yeah. So Twinkle Snow is probably my second favorite zone in the game. And while I praise this game for having a lot of variety, it's interesting that this is one of my favorites because I use Tail Sonic this entire zone. Because it's just pretty much the perfect team for every act of this zone. I do a trick there to cancel my momentum there. Because Tail Sonic can trick. So the 4 teams that can trick in this game are Sonic, Tails, Tail Sonic, Amy Cream, and Cream Amy. I don't know why they can trick, and I don't know why Knuckles cannot trick in this game, but it is just what it is.
You said it was introduced in Sonic Advance 2, right?
Yeah, every character can trick off of any ramp, any spring in Advance 2.
Is it more useful there as well?
Much more useful in Advance 2. I mean, it's really important in Advance 2 because you can trick in all 4 directions. In this game, there's like no distinction between doing a forward trick or a backward trick. In Advance 2 there is, and there's actually uses for them. Like using a backwards or a forward trick. Alright, so this stage is one of the longer stages. And I'm going to take a pretty long dip in the water. There's a chance I might drown, so I might have to be careful. Yes, drowning is a thing in Sonic games. Alright. Okay, that damage cancel is intentional because Tails cannot cancel his flight, so taking damage is an alternative to do that. Oh, this is awkward. Oh, this has never happened before. Okay. I'm just gonna wing this. Here we go! I think I know where I am. Don't snipe me, no, don't snipe me. Okay. I've made that mistake before where I've fallen up to that pass with the penguins, and that penguin has sniped me down before, and it takes forever to fly back up. It sucks. Right. Take a long dip in the water. Just hope I don't drown. So Tails can swim underwater, Cream cannot, which is something to note, I think. But when Cream is paired with Sonic, she gets a bubble around her, and so she can breathe underwater. No, Sonic gets a bubble around him when he's paired with Cream. Sorry. There you go.
That's the most terrifying sound effect in video games.
It is very terrifying. But the zeros didn't pop up, so I had plenty of time.
I know people that set that as a wake-up alarm in the morning.
Oh god, that sounds like a terrible wake-up. A very good and terrible wake-up alarm. Alright, so I'm going to do a slope jump off here and fly over a good chunk of the stage right here, because it's a very open area, so might as well just fly over it. Because I'm Tails. I'm going to have a racing match with this minecart and just completely crush it. Bye! Alright. I held A early. Oops. How can I recover from this? That. So I'm intentionally not doing faster tag actions there, so I can control my speed better. Okay, there's a glitch I was trying to go for there. If you press and tap R before hitting that hoop, but after getting hit by that icicle, you can do a really early buffer trick to hop out of that hoop early, but it's pretty tight to do, and I'm not very consistent at it. Saves like a second. And that's the end of the stage. Alright, so the boss for Twinkle Snow is pretty notorious. It's a kind of a gimmicky boss. You cannot attack him with cheese. The only way to damage this boss is to drop platforms on top of the boss while he chases you from below. And if you make a mistake, you're probably dead, because there is no floor. So I'm using Cream and Amy because Amy's tag action is invaluable for this boss. And Cream is nice to have because her ability to fly and cancel it at any time can be nice as a backup. I was too late for that. So the ideal way to hit him is I need to manipulate Eggman by hitting him at a specific spot, so I can hit him with 8 platforms in a row. And then after setting him up, I have to hit him on the first frame possible. It's not frame perfect necessarily, you just have to have the platform in him in some way, shape, or form the moment he becomes vulnerable. Because if he becomes vulnerable at any time without you hitting him, then he'll attack you. So the ideal time for this is a 37-second fight. So, and that's where if you hit him 8 times in a row without letting him attack you. But he attacked me 3 times, so I didn't die. That's good enough. And as I said, it's very easy to die on this boss. Alright, so Cybertrack is the 6th zone in this game, and as most Sonic games have a gravity level, this is that level. There's a lot of gravity sections here. Oh, wrong stage. Oops. This is a very bad stage for this team. Let's use a different stage. There we go.
Did you still time this run by in-game time, or do you use
in-game time? We use this category goes by in-game time because the point of this category is to promote diversity in teams. And if you include real time, you're including menuing. And when I made this category, I didn't want menuing to be a factor in choosing teams. So, oop. But if you try to do like an 80% run where you just start from a new file and just beat the game, then you would go by real time because there's a lot of hub world movement. And yeah. Alright, Cream and Sonic. Again, I'm using Cream Sonic because Cream can cancel a flight. It's useful in like 2 spots. Ooh, that was frame perfect. Nice. And that was very not frame perfect. Okay. Her ability to fly faster vertically than Tails is handy right in that spot there. And I'm going to go for a weird input here. Got it. Okay. That probably looked very weird. I had to press and hold 4 buttons. It's a very awkward format. No comments. Some people might call that a chin, but I was technically using like my front lip, using my front teeth or something, because like there's a weird wedge at the start button that I can't really use my chin for, so I kind of have to use something that's kind of, I don't know, something smaller than my chin.
Shoutouts to the DSS chin clip during Heroes.
Alright, there's a lot to talk about this stage. So this is a very interesting team I'm using, and this is a really popular team for casual players because Knuckles can glide, he can climb, Tails can fly, and you have Tails' tag actions. So this is like the ideal team for exploration. The ability to glide and climb is nice for this stage, but the reason I need Tails as my tag partner is I just skipped 1/3 of the stage, by the way, by using Tails' air tag action. When you use Tails' tag action in the air, the game shoves you down from where you initiate it. And then I can pretty much manipulate the game into thinking that I entered those pinball machines from the wrong side. So I don't enter them from the correct side, I just enter it from like an exit point or something. And I'm going to do that 2 more times in the stage, though neither of the 2 times I use this trick, clip, is as useful as the first time, but they still save a bit of time. So I'm going to use it again here, by using Tails' tag action right after jumping to squish Knuckles into that machine. There's a random chance you can fall through that rail and die, by the way, so this is one of the scariest stages in the game, and it's also very long. Alright, and then I'm going to do it again. This skips waiting for a platform, riding a platform, and waiting for it to go underneath that machine thingy. I don't know what you call them, pinball machines or something. And this is the worst general fight in the game, because he has this really dumb barrier that makes his hitboxes really wonky. Oh, Knuckles has this cool uppercut attack when he's paired with Tails. It's pretty cool. See, look at that barrier. Oh, he didn't use the barrier. Uppercut. There we go. Okay, so the next fight, there's a good chunk to talk about. I'm going to be using Amy Sonic for a few reasons. When a character is paired with Amy, they do not automatically spin jump, they do a straight jump, which is useful actually. Especially for this boss, because if my partner's AI spin jumps and hits one of Eggman's attacks, that will completely ruin my strategy. So I want Sonic to do a straight jump instead, so his AI doesn't mess me up. I also have access to Sonic's tag action for entering the fight quickly, and I have Amy's hammer, which is nice for this boss. So this boss, the gimmick is to bounce a bunch of balls back at him, and this is basically random, because the hitboxes are terrible. The first 4 hits I have reliable strats for them, but after the first 4 hits, it's pretty much random from there on out. Ooh, there you go. That's a good 5th hit.
Bye, Sonic.
Yeah, you're gonna see Sonic die a lot. Sonic sometimes can hop on one of those lower platforms and just kill you when you land on it. Partner AI is very smart. Come on. There we go. So it's really important to get the first 4 or 5 hits really quickly, because the more hits you deal to Eggman, the more quickly he fires, meaning you have more opportunities to attack him. And as you can tell how horrible this boss is, it's very finicky. I do not want to lose my One Ring. Wait, when did I hit Eggman? I don't know. There you go. That could have gone worse, all things considered. In my HDQ run, I killed Eggman while dying. Unfortunately, that doesn't count, but I didn't die this time, so that's cool. Alright, the last zone coming up is my personal favorite, and also the most difficult zone in the game, called Chaos Angel, and it has some of the best music in the game, as most people will probably agree. Oh, hey Sonic, what's up? Kind of floating there. Alright, so I'm going to be using Sonic and Cream. As a reminder, Cream's tag action in the air gives you directly amplifies your vertical velocity, while still maintaining horizontal velocity. So this and the next stage, and the stage after that are the 3 hardest stages in the game. And it's very easy to die, so here we go. Let's hope this goes well. You can make that block cycle, but it's stupidly hard. I like never make it. I've made it like 2 or 3 times ever. So. Oh, I never mentioned Sonic gets this little horizontal attack when he's paired with Cream, which is kind of cool. It's pretty. It turns into a homing attack if you use it near an enemy. But otherwise, it just kind of lets you reset your vertical velocity while still moving at the same speed. Okay. This tag action is one of the hardest in the game to get. There we go. Skips a bunch of platforming. I have boost mode, so I want to maintain it by not hitting anything. Use Cream tag action here, and that went well. Right there is the homing attack. Right there, I manipulated a pass swapper to let me go up to that loop. You're supposed to enter that loop from below, but I entered it from like the wrong path. It's not really the biggest deal in the world, but it's worth pointing out. And then manipulate Cream to hit that block for me, so I only have to hit it 3 times instead of 4. This is the scary part. A mistake here will mean I die and lose a minute and a half. Alright. I didn't die. 135. I played it very safe, and that's a pretty good time for playing it safe. Alright, so I used to use Sonic and Cream for this next stage, but someone named JAsh15 found a strat to use Amy and Sonic instead, which is faster. And I practiced that a little bit off stream. So this team still isn't quite intuitive for me yet, but we'll see how this goes. You have to be fast enough there to make that spike cycle. Otherwise, all the cycles in the early part of the stage are ruined. There we go. Oh, that's very bad. That has not happened in a very long time. Okay. I'm gonna play it safe. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. It's not what I want to do. I did not know you could go in that. Wow. That's a first. That normally takes 4 hits to destroy, but Amy's hammer lets you only have to hit it twice. My grammar was terrible there. Holy crap. Okay. Oh, that's not good. Alright, I'll give this one more shot. I have not been crushed by that in a very long time either. How about that? Plays very safe. Alright, I'm just gonna switch teams. Just gonna go back to what the team I normally use. Alright. That's it. This is the stage that I'm most concerned about, personally. Yep. Use Chaser to kill that enemy. I haven't died in that stage that often in a while, but it happens. Will. Alright, Act 3 has 3 auto-scrollers where you ride this giant platform and have to avoid enemies and spikes, and if you get hit, you die. I don't like auto-scrollers, so I'm just gonna kind of fly over everything. Say bye. Say goodbye to the auto-scroller. So when Tails is paired with Amy, his flight mobility is very greatly enhanced, but he can only fly for half the time he normally can when paired with Sonic instead. Okay, phew, that could have been very bad. And I also have Amy's tag action, which is useful in this second skip here. And there's an enemy coming up, so I need to make sure to hammer this right here. Sometimes I overshoot it, so it's really okay. Oh, that's... I don't know if I'll make that. Make it, make it, make it, make it! There we go. Alright. That went okay. Better than dying. Alright, so this last boss is kind of similar to the Cosmic Angel boss from Sonic Advance 1. The team you use doesn't really matter much, so I'm going to use Amy Knuckles, because it's cool. Amy gets this really giant hammer. That's not very useful, but it just looks cool. And it's not coming too soon yet. Oops. Get a ring, please. Oh, okay, there we go. So you kind of have to hit Eggman on the other side like this. That flips him over, and then that makes him hit the spikes on the other side and hurts him. But if you don't, if you stay on the chain while he gets hurt, then you get flipped up into the spikes as well. That actually went pretty well, so I'm pretty happy with that. And it's also random which way Eggman goes and when he flips. If he flips sides, that sucks, because you have to go on to the other side yourself. Oop, there we go. Alright, so the real final boss in the game is not in time attack mode, unfortunately, so I need to go to the actual main game to go to the final boss, which makes the category a little bit awkward. But it is what it is. So I'm going to use a team I haven't used yet, Sonic and Knuckles. So Sonic gets a ton of cool abilities. This is the only team in the game that can access, well, Knuckles Sonic too, but this is one of 2 teams that can enter both boost mode and use power attacks. So boost mode isn't really useful for the bosses, so that doesn't really matter much. Alright, Sonic gets this little cool up attack. If you remember, he had this little horizontal attack when paired with Cream. He has the same thing with Knuckles, except it goes up, which is really useful for this boss coming up. He also gets a bunch of cool other attacks, which I'll showcase when I'm bored. Alright, here's last general fight. This is just luck. Sonic gets insta-shield when he's paired with Knuckles, which is kind of handy, because it increases his hitbox, like that. Oop. Terrible patterns, wow. Okay. Sonic also gets this cool slide attack. That is a power attack, it lasts forever and is completely useless. He also gets this cool bounce attack, like Sonic Adventure 2.
Or the bubble shield in Sonic 3.
Yeah. Fun fact, Tails can insta-shield in this game, if he's paired with Knuckles. Not many people know that. So if you just try loading up this game and pairing Tails and Knuckles and press B in the air, you'll see him insta-shield. So this is the reason why I use this team. Normally you're supposed to wait for this boss to lower his hands and use them as a stepping stone, but I'm just going to repeatedly hit him over and over right here. With this attack. There are other teams that can do this, like Tails and Amy, for example, because Tails can fly while using Amy's hammer. Time is not coming up, by the way. Just one more boss after this. Alright, so that is not the real final boss, but that is the final boss. This being a 100% file, and me having all 7 Chaos Emeralds, Eggman kind of flies off, and then General betrays him, just like in pretty much every Sonic game with some kind of story. And then you team up with Eggman, just like pretty much every Sonic game with an actual story. So General gets kind of pissed off here, and he's like, no, I want those Chaos Emeralds, and go crazy and turn into this giant, weird thing. I don't know what you call that. Doesn't really look monstrous. Ow! So when you're paired with Eggman, you still have the same tag action, except it takes a lot longer to charge. When you use Eggman's tag action as Supersonic, you fire Eggman forward, and when Eggman hits General, or the boss this game calls it non-aggression now, you unlock his weak point. The longer you charge the tag action, the longer the weak point will stay open. That is the only time to attack the boss. But in most cases, you're better off just using a minimal charge Eggman and hit the boss immediately. So time will be coming up at the end of this boss. Right when the timer in-game timer stops. This boss is completely random. I want him to attack as many times as possible at the start. To delay a spinning attack he's going to do, because when he does that attack, it's near impossible to hit him. He can attack between 1 to 5 times, and he can attack me once, which is the worst possible pattern. These missiles are also completely random, which is great. And my hitbox is massive. So, oh, hey, thanks. So after this missile attack, he's going to attack me again between 1 to 5 times. Again, I want him to attack me as many times as possible. Ooh, that's bad. Okay, I'm going to play this safe. Ah, thought I could get that hit. And he only attacked me twice, so this is the second worst possible luck I have. When he does his giant laser attack, he's always going to do this giant spinning attack. And I can't really hit him for like a very long time. So I did make some execution mistakes, but at the same time, it probably would have been impossible to finish off Eggman non-aggression with this pattern before this attack. So it is what it is. Wow, I'm actually hitting him. Wow, that's surprising. Hit him! Time. That did not cut the HQ estimate, but that's why I made the estimate 5 minutes longer. Yeah, the run was fine.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Thank you, KirbyMastah. That was pretty awesome. Coming up next, we have Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD by J-Hobbs.